Hey guys, Vaughn here with the Funster vlog and Kitty Cat having a conniption fit in the chair. And I want to take y'all on a garden tour so you can see what we've been up to at late March garden tour. Okay guys, so I'm setting a timer for myself on my, you can't see it, my watch. I'm all hooded up in my sunblock shirt and hat because I am a crispy ginger, but I'm setting a timer for 15 minutes and I'm going to tackle my garden because it's like it just grows junk over the winter. So let's see what we can accomplish in 15 minutes. Through the magic of editing, it'll go by super fast though, for y'all, not for me. And we did it. Let's go see what all we did. You did so good, Nutmeg. Look at you. Laying eggs. Egg. I'm going to open with the big pile of stuff that needs recycled, donated, or taken to the dump. And just kind of sort it out that way. And the rest of the garden, oh, there's some birds in the sky. There's always birds in the sky, but it's still nice. This is how the garden's looking, y'all. Coming together pretty nicely. We actually had a burn, not last night, but the night before, and that went really well. So I showed you guys in the last vlog update how we extended this bed, and the chickens were having a heyday with it, so and actually demolishing some of my daffodils. So I went ahead and covered them up with my old rabbit tractors. I stopped doing my rabbits and tractors because they were getting sore hocks from being on the damp ground all of the time. So they're actually doing much better in their cages with their resting mats. And now here, oh, the chickens are fighting over a bucket, which actually the chickens are now fully enclosed in their enclosure for the rest of the season because I'm getting stuff into the ground. Now here in this long stretch, I'd shown you guys, again, in my last vlog, all of the paths need remulched and tidied up and kind of the landscape fabric straightened up. This really did help a lot last season, but again, having the winters free range over the winter, or having the chickens free range over the winter, they're just forces of nature and they destroy and knock over and scratch up everything. So I don't know, it is what it is, but I love it. Ooh, my stunted little hyacinth, which still smells amazing, rising up out of the rabbit poop. But all of these tomato cages in this long bed, we are going to be stacking up with used straw from our rabbits and planting with potatoes and sweet potatoes. We're going to try to do a little bit of a vertical thing. I'm really worried that they're going to get very, very dry. Being vertical like this, and we are in a pretty windy area, so they're probably going to have to be watered a lot. So, but I figure, you know, we're not planning on growing a whole lot of tomatoes this year, and I really, really like sweet potatoes and potatoes, so we'll see what we can do with that. And so, and these cages are all made out of remesh, like how you would put in concrete. We had gotten a big old roll of it and made a bunch of tomato cages like 8 years ago, and we've been using them ever since. And we still have more daffodils coming up. There's the Randy turtle, and there's the Vaughn turtle that Randy picked up because he's like, that turtle reminds me of you. Also, in between the cages and around underneath the beds, we are going to be planting a whole bunch of herbs and different things as well. And probably a bunch of sunflowers. Hopefully, a lot of the perennial flowers and herbs that we did here will be coming back. Bringing this over, I have the umbrella down low so it would have blocked the morning sun, but it's getting later in the day so I can open it back up the rest of the way. Our fish are still doing good. We do have American toads in here doing their mating calls through a lot of the day as well. They get real shy when I'm out and about, but you can hear them whenever we go inside. Like, we can hear it over the heater and everything. I'm wondering if our mullein, this is the flower bud to the mullein plant that I rescued from a public walking path where it would have just been sprayed. So I wonder if it's going to come back. I'm actually going to toss it so it'll reseed over there. I don't know what we're going to be planting along here, but I need to do something because all that chokeweed and morning glories have become completely invasive, and I don't like them being on the fence line because I don't want the neighbors to have to, deal with it. But again, every year it does get away from me. So this bed, we have also, y'all, check out these wee bitty daffodils. They are just the cutest stinking things. I love them. And then one straggler right over there. Boop. So here in this bed, we have our red cabbages, regular green cabbages, some Johnny Jump Ups and pansies along that back row. And there's actually, I had so much fun growing onions last year that I'm companion planting. These sad looking green things are actually onion starts. So we'll see how those grow. Nothing was seeded in this bed because this bed from the morning glories last year, because we used to intentionally grow morning glories here, but then they became such a problem. I hear you. That now I want to be able to weed, so I don't want to plant stuff and be like, what is this? And accidentally, weed out what I had intended to plant. So this is just transplants, should be pretty easy to weed around. I am going to be mulching it, and one of our grapes survived the winter, maybe. It hasn't started new growth yet, but I found the vine and trained it up and up and up, and that's the tip of it right there, the pergola. So maybe we'll have some really pretty grape leaves. I doubt we'll have any fruit this year, but we'll see. We'll see how everything goes. So this whole area still needs tidied up. I know, baby girl. I know. It's hard being a kitty all day. We're going to try a Three Sisters field, but with, pumpkins, pole beans, and sunflowers instead of corn, because I really, really like sunflowers. We are going to do tomatoes around the edge of our chicken enclosure again, but right there, that platform is where we're going to be building the chicken coop, hopefully in the coming month. That is next month's project, is to get that built. We're going to be pulling this panel and this panel forward, as well as the panel kind of right there, to make way for the door for the chickens to get in and out, and it's going to have an exterior door for humans to get in and out. But the girls are now in their enclosure, and I bring them 2 buckets. I use the buckets to hide the openings so the chickens won't just slip through. But I bring them 2 buckets of greens that I kind of graze harvest from the front yard. And this is all... yard. And this is all chickweed and dead nettle. Kind of in there. I need to get we went to the feed store the other day, and I need to get the feed on into its bin and the lid back on there. But they really like their greens, and I bring them as much scraps and everything and any bugs that I find. So that's good. Lots of work still needs done on all of these beds. Ooh, I did scatter sow some peas, some old pea seed. I don't know if it'll germinate, but let's see if we can get over there. Yeah, I just kind of tossed it in on top of the straw and letting the rain and nature water it down and in. The easiest way I've ever planted peas, but it actually works out pretty well. And the windstorms we've been having have been blowing all sorts of trash. And since we have one of the only fence lines across the neighbors, it all gets blown across everybody's yard and then ends up on our fence line. But at least it's all in one spot, and it should be pretty easy to clean up. So we're going to be planting in this bed as well. And this one over here doesn't have anything in it yet. Like none of these. Ooh, but check these ones out. Okay, so we've got some self-sown onions coming back. These are those Egyptian walking onions. My sage, like half of it survived. And my lemon balm is coming back, which this one I haven't given a haircut yet, but that one I did go through and trim off all the dead standing. I like to leave the dead standing on over the winter because it does keep the chickens from just wrecking it as bad-ish. But that was a very welcome scent this morning coming through and trimming up all the dead standing on that because I love lemon balm. Or Melissa officinalis maybe. Okay, so over here we do have some seeds sown. This is a duplicate bed of the other one that I showed you earlier with the red cabbages, green cabbages, but it also has Brussels sprouts, boop, 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 and broccoli, boop, 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 and cauliflower. Those 4 transplants along there, and interspersed with them are more onions and lots more of these beautiful little pansies. And then I also have, I sprinkled in between root crops. So we have radish, we have beets, because anything that's going to grow up kind of to take up the foot space, like the square footage underneath at the base of the other plants, because the cabbages are a little bit slower than like the radishes and stuff. And then also over in this corner we have spinach. But it should keep the soil moist, keep the weeds down, and I'd always rather be growing something if I've got a square inch of soil. Let's come over here, because in this bed I have mostly all of my spinach, kale, and leafy greens like lettuce mixes, interspersed with beets and radishes again. And it doesn't look like anything's sprouted yet. Yeah, nothing sprouted yet. Well, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. There's something green over there. But I don't know if that was me or nature. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this is how... Ooh, and we can show you... My phone's about to die, and that's what I'm recording on. But I do want to take you guys over. I can't wait to get that cleaned up. It's such a... It stresses me out every time I look at it. Oh, the red bud is starting to flower. I love it. I've been really pleased, you guys, with these solar fountains. Like, that's a solar panel. So it's over a year old now. And I took the head off of it just because sometimes if the sun gets too bright, it'll just spray everywhere. But I love the bubbling. Definitely lures the birds over. But this whole bed, I'm going to be planting very heavily with herbs and perennial things this year. But yeah, you can see like the chickens just come through like they pay bills and destroy everything. Like they come through like it's their house, which I guess it kind of is. But, and that's what I get for just loose stacking rocks. But why is there a marshmallow? Anyways, so here we have a whole bunch of naked ladies, which are actually like a, what is it, a spider lily maybe? I don't know. It's not a spider lily, but the greenery comes up now and the flowers come up in like June, I think. But this whole bed's going to get planted. I grew cabbages and stuff here last year and that was really nice. But the moths, the cabbage moths, decimated them, or rather the caterpillars did. And here we have, I need to trim all this back. It's more just dead standing bee balm. And anything that's growing too close to the edge, I'm actually going to pull these rocks back and dig up and transplant these other bee balm elsewhere in the garden. So probably along the back edge over there, along this long bed, because I think I'm going to be, at least for the border beds, trying to gravitate towards just perennial herbs and flowers, and then do all of my vegetative stuff in the raised beds in the center, because there's only so much I can keep up with growing. Also, we've let our mulch rot over the winter, so that's what I'm going to be mulching the beds with, so it'll be nice and broken down. And I'm hankering hard to turn that carport frame into a greenhouse, you guys. Like, but it's so windy here, I don't know how to do it in a way that's not, because like, look at what the wind did to our neighbor's shed. Like, that's horrible. I don't want to just put in the time and effort and resources to turn that into a greenhouse just to have the wind tear it down. Also, the cherry tree is starting to set some little buds. And I actually think over here we have some cherry blossoms. Yep. So pretty. But yeah, so that's how our garden is growing. I'm just over the winter, like I feel a lot of, this is gonna sound ridiculous, but I feel a lot of shame about my garden. And nobody else has ever made me feel this way. It's all me doing it to me. But it's like I'll feel like it's not good enough, or I'm not doing enough, or I need to be working harder, I need to be doing better, or like just ridiculous. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard today from myself. And it's like, come on, Vaughn, just let it be what it is and enjoy it. Like, so I'm going through and doing a lot of like journaling and stuff, and it's easy to get frustrated, I think, in the winter when there's not a whole lot to do out in the garden, and whenever it was so bitter cold, which I'm not used to. Like, I like winter in the southeast where there's not one. After I spent too many years, I guess, in Texas and southern Tennessee, that I was like, what is this snow? Like, what? So we need to move farther south, apparently. And it's just that yeah, no, I like gardening year round, and this year it did not happen. And so I started to get like very curmudgeon-y. But now getting to actually sit and spend time in the garden, I'm like, oh yeah, I could very happily spend every day of the rest of my life bullshitting around in my backyard, just digging in the dirt and talking with the chickens and getting video of flowers and stuff. Like, this has been so nice. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see y'all in next week's vlog update, or video, or whatever we have. I'm trying to upload every Friday. Yeah, it's time to go. But cheers, have a wonderful day, and until next time, keep on keeping on. Bye. Did you know it's okay to not be perfect? Shame is quiet and hidden. Joy is so bright that it's loud, even without sound. Shame shrivels and putrefies. Joy radiates and spreads, creeping like moss on a log. Like the blooming of spring, joy heals the broken ground of our souls. Reap what you sow. Plant seeds of joy today in yourself or someone else, and water with love as often as possible.